Well, I've just received the latest data. So when people talk to me about, hey, Tony, how do you research properties? How do you find the places to buy? Where's property going to go up in value, right? I get some of my data from some of the best experts in Australia. So here's a Heron Todd White report. Look, it's 87 pages long, but it covers residential, commercial, industrial, etc., even rural. But I really focus on the residential side of property. So here's what I show you today. This is what's called the National Property Clock. So this is where they're predicting the state of the market for all these areas in Australia. There's something really, really, really ironic that I want to point out to you. If you notice up here, we're talking about the peak of the market. Over here, we're talking about a rising market. Now, I have never seen this in the history of Heron Todd White since I've been doing property and investing for over 20 years and doing all the market research. Look at all these cities over here that are in a rising market. It tells you what's going on right around the whole of Australia. It's a dynamic that we've only seen probably, every 20 to 25 years you see this happening. So when people are asking me, Tony, where do I go? Where do I buy? What the bloody hell? How do I pick an area? I go to data like this. But just remember, inside of here, I've got reports on every single area that's located. So we're talking rising markets. Starter recovery markets down here, we're talking, Bundaberg, Broome, Alice Springs, which we don't invest in any of those, but just pointing out to you, all the major cities are up here. The peak of the market up here, we're talking about areas like Albury, Bathurst, Burnie, Canberra, Dubbo, Launceston, Tamworth, right? So the interesting thing that I found is right around this side over here, markets that are declining or starting to decline, or markets that are at the bottom of the market. Folks, this snapshot here from Heron Todd White, who are absolute gems at what they do in regard to market research and data, really points out to you the dynamics of what's going on in the Melbourne property market. Now, that's the property clock for houses. Let me sit you over here. Let's have a look at this. Here's the property clock for units. Now, again, blows me away. I've got declining market over here in Canberra, the Central Coast, New South Wales. Peak of the market up here, pretty much the same as the housing market. But look at this over here. Look at the areas that have got rising markets, right? Rising markets. And over here, start of recovery. Now, if you know anything about property and you know the model that I teach when I talk about, buying at 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the market, well, this is 6 o'clock down here. Here's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Here's 9 o'clock in here. This is where you want to be borrowing. Now, I had clients buying back in here in 2 or 3 different areas 3 or 4 years ago, which we now see are starting to move and peak up and go around. Folks, really interesting dynamic. Just thought I'd show you that one today, just to show you how important it is to know about researching what's going on in particular areas and how to find areas that are ready to move and ready to bump. So if I was going to start to focus on areas right now, and again, we're talking units and apartments. Now, I can see Melbourne over here. I can see Sydney. I can see Townsville. I can see Brisbane. We've done a fair bit in some of those areas over the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And I know that a lot of those areas we haven't had super growth, but I can tell you right now the dynamics are changing. The dynamics are shifting. And with all of my properties and all my investing and all my teaching, I'm always talking to my clients 7 to 15 years is the game plan, because the cycle that we're running, and you see through Australia around here, traditionally runs between 7 to 12 years, folks. So you have to be in this for a long-term game, okay? Also, if you're in the positive cash flow space with me doing positive cash flow, how good would it be to have a positive cash flow area in a market that's rising at the same time? So not only are you getting cash return, you're also getting capital growth on your money. All right, folks, that's a shout out for today, just to give you a bit of an idea of some of the research that I do behind the scenes. Hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it. Any questions, any queries, contact me direct. Want to get on the phone, book a strategy call with me, feel free to do that. Go to my website, yourpropertyinvesting.com.au.